Hello again, everybody. I'm Nate Keenan. Welcome to another episode of the Mortgage Podcast. One of the most frequently asked questions I get is how much are the fees and or points going to be? These fees, along with the interest rate, are the most important concerns of the people that I deal with. However, the most important aspect of how they all relate to each other is often overlooked. And that is what I would like to address in today's podcast. As much as people complain about closing costs, we all know that preparing a mortgage is a very complex, detailed legal process that involves a lot of time and attention. It's a lot more complex and involved than borrowing a cup of sugar or $5 from your buddy. Since rates change every day and loans have rate locks, we always have to work around a deadline, meaning every T is going to be crossed, every I must be dotted, and all this by a deadline, and no mistakes can be made. I've thought about offering tours of how mortgages get prepared so people can see firsthand how hard our crew works to get everything done from start to finish. Ultimately, closing costs are used to pay the team that is working diligently to get everything wrapped up before the rate lock expires. Imagine if your boss came to you and said he expected you to have a project done by a certain date and every detail had to be completed and you couldn't make a single mistake. Now, how would you feel if he said to you as he left the room, "Oh, and by the way, you don't expect to be paid for this job, do you?" Well, I want to make one other point, and that's about points. A lot of times, points are charged to you to keep the rate down. As we explained in prior podcasts, rates are determined based on a loan's risk, determined by credit score and equity, and a few other factors. If a bank makes too many risky loans, they lose their investors. Therefore, oftentimes, points are charged to buy down the rate and make up the amount that the loan is undervalued. However, there are some people who tell you you're not being charged points, but then what they'll do is they'll end up shifting the non-existent points to different fees. And what is the most important aspect that I alluded to earlier? The answer is the payment. The fees and the rate determine your monthly payment, and no matter what the rate, the fees, or the points, you should want to take a loan with the lowest payment. Therefore, read your good faith estimate carefully, and if you have more than one, make sure the final payment makes sense to you. As a free service, we are always willing to review good faith estimates with you, so you could see if you're being treated fair and square. Feel free to call about that or any question at 800-991-9575. That's 800-991-9575. I'm extension 202. This is Nate Keene for the Mortgage Podcast.